to Earth, the leading, the trailing, the polar. Just the difference in aerodynamics from a thermometer to that does have an effect. I have it, and I'm going to show you something. I'll stick on this. This is sticking out silly. So I reach up and I push the W, and it sends it straight down. Then I hold the Shift key and push the S. 1, 2. And then I stick it on. And what that did is that allowed it an interesting angle. Okay. So this is my Z-craft. I'm going to save that right off the bat in case I push the wrong button. I don't want to mess things up. So we have a thing called a heat shield. We don't need it now, but we're going to need it later. So now is the time. If we can afford the parts, we can yank it off. If we don't. So I'm going to go back to the top here. We have these things called decouplers, and I have this one. Okay, and then I'm going to put one here on the side for now. We can use it in a minute. Alright, now I have gas tanks. And get this, I'm going to change the style. I'm going to hold my alternate button and press that once, and then line this up, hold the Shift and do the Q. Shift Q. I can count, but keep clicking it till it rolls around. There's an incremental, and then grab 2, hold Alt, bam. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Have 4. Alright. Then I'm going to put my engine on. I'm going to grab this decoupler, put it below that, and then remember that solid rocket booster? This one's its cousin, and it has more stuff. So, and can you see it? Now, there is a center. I'm going to just hit save. We haven't finished, but this is in case we mess something up. We can just go back to our save point. Alright, just going through this stuff again. I'll check my part count. Looks like I have 17 of 30. I can put a lot more parts on here. I have all the science I need. You know, I may not. So, we're going to put a thermometer and a barometric pressure gauge right here. This is in case we get busy and we just need it. Alright? Because we've got to take some pressures below 70,000 as close to it as possible, and above 70,000 as close to it as possible. And that's our transition to be slower. If our transition is quick, then we might need the extra equipment because we won't be able to do that at the setting. It's a precautionary scientific consideration. So I'm just going up through it, make sure I didn't miss anything, and there's my fins. Now I want to show you the center of mass. I just turned it on. We want to get these fins as close as possible. Can I have 4? So I'm going to kind of height them up, even up onto that decoupler. Now let's get it. Alright, so there we go. That'll help us fly straight in the beginning. We'll have no control. We're just going straight. And then I'm basically going to walk up and just check each one. Oh, that's interesting. Is that my onboard camera? I wonder what that does. Let's see. I'll just put it there. Let's see what it does. I have no idea, by the way. It's a mod, too. So, onboard camera. Some different visual modes. Okay. Let's see. If I'm on there, maybe I can have a different view. But I've seen it, too, in the past where you have to have a screen in the cockpit to look at to use the camera. So, okay. If you want to do that, you need a camera, but if you don't, it's just lump on the side of the... Anyway, we may take it off if we're 24 parts. So I don't see another part to add, really, unless we wanted to put a booster under our booster. And I've seen that. Boost, boost, boost. So, should we try it? Okay, I said we were going to do failure, a possible failure. Let's just do those small booster. See what happens. Alright, so let's reset this, and then we'll have small booster, that one. I'm going to put this one here. That will be simultaneous. Alright, so we're going to set this for 40 and 1550, and this is, the top is 1060. Video. When in doubt, just go at half and then evaluate. So I'm going to remove that center of mass. That was to help me place the fence. Closer is better, otherwise the rocket will have a tendency to be top heavy pull instead of going straight up this stage. So anyway, are we going to keep Valentina in it? Let's just see what she can do. So here's the deal. Last time we were on this launch pad, we only could do an EVA report, but now we can do a temperature and a barometric pressure, and we can also do a crew report. But I'm not going to do a crew report because it's about batteries at this point. So now I'm going to hop out. I get to take my data like that, take my data like that. Now it's in my person or my Kerbal, and we're going to board. Alright, so now we can use these instruments again in upper atmosphere, lower atmosphere. I have to do a crew report because of my battery situation. I can transmit one, so I want to upper atmosphere, lower atmosphere. That's my whole goal. I'm going to try to perform all the science in both atmospheres that's available to me at this time, including EVA and all these pressure readings and everything. Plus, this is something I haven't done before because I haven't needed to, and I actually might achieve orbit. Maybe. This would be interesting if I do because it'd be a first. Is this little double booster thing at the bottom. It may crash me too, by the way. I don't know. But let's go ahead and try. And Valentina, she's brave. And off we go. Alright, so what I'm doing is I just watch the solid fuel over here. And then when it stops coming out, I blast that off. I sent a bomb to my launch pad, by the way, doing that. I may have done some damage. I have to pay for it later. That's the downside. But let's see if there's an upside, okay? Alright, so now I'm blasting my rocket, and I want this number to go up, but then I'm going to back my speed off till it just stops. See that? 450. And then it was slow, and now it's starting to pick up speed. So that's where I determined where my throttle would be. I'm just going to pump it up just a little bit. Okay? Now, when this gets up to 45, I'm going to tilt my craft to 45, and then things are going to start happening fast. So I'm trying to they have 3 layers of thickness and then no atmosphere. I'm approaching 45, so we have 4 atmospheres. I'm approaching 45. It's over here, I've hit it. So now I go to 45. Okay? And now I'm looking for 55. 55's coming up. I'm going to start creeping to 30. Okay, I'm hit 55. I'm at 30. That's 30 degrees on my azimuth. I'm waiting for 60. I'm going to go to 10. I'm at 60. I'm going to 10. I'm checking my fuel to make sure. Looking at fuel to make sure that I'm not going to destroy the primary mission. I'm currently at 43,000 meters. I'm at 65. At 69, I'm going to pull it over to 0. So that's my dog barking at the mailman. So at 69, I'm going to pull it over to 0. Okay, and I'm going to back the throttle way off, like just trickle charging. Now I'm going to start my upper atmosphere experiments. keep. Log temperature, keep. Log pressure data, keep. I just ran out of gas. Crew report, transmit. Okay. EVA. Click on the Kerbal, EVA report, before 70, keep, upper atmosphere, board, B. Okay, now we're waiting for 70, and we're going to do it all again. 68. 69. This is our actual, and we're going for 70, so we have to be quick. Observe. Keep. Log. Keep. Temperature. Keep. Crew report. Keep. EVA. Keep. Don't know if I got it. Board. Yes, I did. I think I got it. I'm going to turn these lights off. Now I have time. I'm going to come back out on my EVA, and I'm going to start collecting data. Remove data. Take data. Take data. Take data. Take data. Collect data. Board. Alright, so now we can spin it over to the landing approach. This is called retrograde. The opposite of this, where we came up, was prograde. So we put it on retrograde, and I'm going to stage. So, boom, let it go. Okay, now our capsule is teardrop shaped. So I can get it falling in the right direction and then turn my control off. And as you see, it'll circle around. And as we get closer and the air gets thicker, it'll come back to the center. So the astronaut, taikonaut, cosmonaut, they could actually be unconscious. I just put the sky up in the ground, just for the astronaut's comfort. Alright, so let's go ahead and get control. Place it properly for his comfort. Turn it off. Let's just see what happens. I can pull the parachutes now because we have set them up. So I just pull the button. It's blue. Sometimes I push it twice just to make sure, because it's a pain to go through all this and then die because you failed to push the button. So what we're doing is we're coming back to Earth, and we're going to check our batteries. Okay, we don't have any electric charge. Let's go to the map and see how far we actually traveled. So here's our space center we shot out here. We're at 10,000. The pressure we have should open one of our chutes somewhere between 3,500 meters and 5,000 meters above sea level. So what we do is we watch and we see, okay, 5,200 meters. 3,300. Now, these are pressure readings, and different planets have different pressure, and the moon doesn't have any, so we can't use parachutes. Have to use retro rockets like the Apollo program to land on the moon. Parachutes do no good unless you have air for them to open. And it's about atmospheric thickness, or density, is what we call it, the air density. I'll be calling it heavy air, thin air, light air, thick air. You'll hear me say it in so many ways, but it's all the same thing. Now I turn my lights off. So now that my parachutes have opened, I can cheat science a little bit. I'm going to take a low atmosphere temperature reading for I'm going to take a low atmosphere pressure reading. Okay, and I'm going to get an EVA report. Remember, we upgraded the astronaut facility. That just allowed me 5 points of science. And I'm going to board before splashdown. One thing that it owes me is a goo report and a crew report. Goo and crew. Now, we're going to do the same thing when we hit the water. So the water is going to owe me goo and crew. But we'll be able to get our temperature, our pressure data. I guess we could have had 3 goos if we wanted to. We had the room. But we'll get it. We'll get it eventually. Keep. Wait a second. Did I just overwrite the... Okay. I may have just overwrote the data. Let me just do my EVA report. EVA report in the water. Okay, I'm going to take my data. I may have overwritten this temperature data. It just cost myself a few experience points, but we'll get them later. Take data. Board. Now let's see if... okay. Maybe I'm okay. Maybe yes, maybe no. Anyway, so I just milked every inch of science out of upper atmosphere, lower atmosphere, upper atmosphere, lower atmosphere, water, and space. So we broke into space. This is the first carbon into space right here. And you did it. Mission number 2. Right? So we're going to recover our vessel. And if this is too simple for you, or you've already done this and need to move along, just jump into the series. The whole series, I'm just going through the first phases of the contract. See, I have 154 science points now to distribute. And we only had 30 before, or 35. So, I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button. We also have some money from our accomplishments. So, oh my goodness, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, I left-clicked that, and I wanted to right-click that. So, okay, we cannot upgrade that, but we can upgrade that. That'll allow us a heavier vessel. We were limited in weight. Now it's a nicer complex with a, instead of just out there in the dirt, we've actually got a real launch facility. And I have enough money that I could do the runway, but I'm not gonna. And I could do this, but that's a choice right now, and I may choose not to make. I could do this and leave myself with 22,650, right? So I just upgraded that. I upgraded that, and I upgraded that. 2 missions, 3 upgrades. Okay? The next upgrade is going to be this, and then we'll be ready for airplanes, and we'll do this one and this one. Eventually we do this and this. That's the right steps to be efficient. And it's about generating science in the shortest time possible, to build your research tree, to get better parts, to go further and faster. We can build it better, stronger, faster, higher. It starts to really exponentiate if you know what you're doing and you follow these steps. So let's just think about, we have to now, let's go back here and make sure we're on track with our orbit. Kerbal is an active mission, and the available one we have would be, sometimes you get caught in these tests. You don't want to get caught in these tests. I'm just going to skip that, because I'll go do that if I need money. We'll sell our soul, take a tourist. Agree to take a temperature above a certain altitude. It's going to be a pain, but we might need the money to achieve the basic goal. So we'll have to make someone else happy and do what they want to do, so we can do what we want to do and work together and share. It's really the best way, unless you just have all the money and all the power. and all the time, and all the energy. 20 points there. I sometimes come back to stability later because, see, I really need that battery. And then to actually get to the moon, I'm going to need this solar panel up here. But that costs 90, and I don't have it. Okay, I'm 0.2 short. So I definitely like advanced rocketry. This little Terrier helps me get into space. So I'm going to buy that first. Don't have enough money to get that. So I might as well just come get stability. See, I could have just bought it to begin with. But I just wanted to show you the steps. If you're short of points, you'd rather not have stability but have yes and yes. No. This is going to help you achieve orbit. So we have 26. We get a save in the future. Our next upgrade's 45. Let's just move right on. We're going to go back to this craft. And we're essentially going to use parts of it and throw parts away. Hey, that little double booster didn't do much for me at all. It seemed like I think I could have achieved with one with just, I mean, no extra benefit. It might have just been extra weight just to do the exact same thing. Extra weight and cost. I never even did get a chance to look at that camera thing, whatever that is. So what I do is I pull that 45 off, and then I just throw this right away. And I take that solid booster. So you can pick these up and click on your menu and get some out of your hair. It takes them into oblivion. Or you can leave them sitting there like as a ghosted image on the screen. So you know it's not part of the craft, but it's there for you to grab and use again if you need it. So what we have achieved is bigger gas tanks. So I'm going to put that one, let's see, and a new engine called the Terrier. This is high efficiency in a vacuum environment. Excuse me. And then I put a decoupler ring, and then you go to this larger tank. Let's see what we like, and we're going to go 4 of those, just like before, 4. Okay, and then we're going to take this 45 that we had, because we like that engine, we're going to put it back on. Hey, holding shift and spinning my wheel, I back it up a little bit. I'd like to find my center of thrust and put some winglets on it. These are big, and I'm going to use 3. Okay. Then I have these new decouplers. They're called radial decouplers, and I'm also going to put 3 on. I'm going to come back to my booster rockets. Remember my solid rocket boosters? Oh, look at this. I got some big daddies. And I put those on the decoupler, but it's not in the right spot. So I reach in and grab the decoupler and the rocket both. And then I kind of come back here and I put it where it needs to be. And then I check that. Put some caps on top. Turn it dark because that looks good, or white because that looks good. Check my part count. I'm at 30-30. I cannot have another part. How's my weight? Oh yeah, I'm way under. Let me just try F8. That should make my face disappear. And see, we can have 140 tons, and we're only at 36. I think we were limited to 30 before, so we definitely needed to do that launch pad upgrade. Plus, it needs to be done, and we're awesome that we did 3 upgrades in 2 missions. And I'm going to turn off the center of mass, just so I don't have to look at it. Back up and look again. And okay, so now I'm going to come up, and you realize that we've already got our mystery goo. We can get a secondary mystery goo, but the only reason we'd need mystery goo is for where we land, if we land in the ocean, for example. And I'm just going to have one of those. One of those. I'm actually going to have two drag chutes. And I won't have to reset these because they've already been preset. I checked my part count. I'm at 29. So I have to decide now, do I want a battery or do I want a gate? And to me, it's a no-brainer because the battery will allow me, and I can have one as I take something off. It's a no-brainer because, you know, I can even put the battery on this low side like that. And watch this. I can turn this bus fuse off and save all the battery here until this battery runs out. And I'm going to put it on this side and unbalance my craft and hope that it drags me into the 90th azimuth directional 90 degrees. I hope it pulls me 90 degrees because that's the direction we want to turn. We can go 270 and come back over Kerbal. So I reset that. Drop that there, drop that there. It's all easy. Put your parachutes in with there because you might as well just pop the button now. Alright. So, I'm back. Anyway, if you're wondering about my skeleton guys over here, as pilots we basically take an oath that we'll kill ourselves before we crash into a building full of people, or a city, or we have an order of priority. We save mass lives, mass casualties first, then we save our passengers next, then we save ourselves next, and then we try to save or limit the damage to the aircraft. The aircraft is last after the three first safety considerations, no matter what, in all cases. That's people, people, person. People, people, person. Or would it be people, persons, person? Either way, understand we don't give a comprehensive evaluational concern. I was going to say something else about the craft. It's disposable. We are not. We are flesh and blood. Remember that. We are not a machine. So, good Lord, somehow I went over my part count. I see how. What happened is, instead of putting one barometer on, I put two. And make sure I put one thermometer instead of two. Now look, my part count's perfect. There we go. I'm going to hit save because my staging's right. That's what you call this procedure over here, is staging. And we're going to go, shall we just go Valentina all the way? She's got experience. Let's just take her. Alright. So, we got a lot more rocket, a lot more boosters, more fuel. So, things are going to happen kind of the same because we weigh a lot more too. So it's not going to be that much difference. We're going to need all that to escape the gravity well and to get into near Earth orbit. So because she's a pilot, I gave her a little extra control. I don't know if you can see me turning that on and off. I checked my staging real quick, and you can always check your staging, especially if you're playing death mode. That's where you turn.